It has been a while since I went live. It has been a while. Good evening. Happy Wednesday to you all. Good Wednesday to you all. As per usual, I hope you're having a great day. For whenever time that y'all catching this live, for whenever the time that y'all catching this video, man, I haven't spoke to you guys in a while. Or I haven't did a live in a while. In fact, it was me shooting playing basketball. That was about 2 weeks ago. But what I wanted to come on here tonight and talk about was the importance of being watchful, watchfulness. And there was a verse this morning that this popped up, and this comes from Luke chapter 21, verse 36. And I read the whole chapter, and it was a great chapter of Jesus talking to the people. Jesus talking to the scribes and the Pharisees, um, and seeing way past on the surface level of what was being presented to him and his face, and being able to look straight to the core of things, straight in the spirit, straight. And in the previous live that we talked about, we've been talking about the 3 degrees of knowledge, and the first being of the body, the second of the soul, and the third of the spirit. And I got that from the ascetic homilies of Saint Isaac the Syrian, homily 52 to be specific. But I digress. The verse 36, I'm gonna read it to you guys. It says, therefore, be watchful at all times and pray that you are worthy to escape from these things that are about to happen, and that you stand before the Son of Man. It is extremely important not to watch other people and other things and what's going on, but to be watchful of yourself. Be mindful of yourself. A lot of people get caught up in happiness that's like going on outside of them. And that's honestly, it is a difficult thing to do, to sit there and pay attention to yourself and be watchful of it, like watchful of your thoughts, be watchful of your feelings. And by you watching those things, you're gonna truly get to know yourself. You're gonna really get to know yourself. And if you guys are watching this, put a one in the chat if you are watchful of yourself. And put a two in the chat if you have trouble with yourself. But in order for you to really know what's going on outside of you, you gotta figure out what's going on inside of you first and foremost. And in that chapter, Jesus is talking about when anything gets pointed like outside of you, of like the Messiah coming, of wars, of anything, do not be led astray. Don't fall into those traps. And for you guys, if you guys want to seek the kingdom of God, you have to go within yourself. This is a broken constantly, because it's very, very important. And by you doing so, you can recognize easily of who's watchful on themselves and who's not watchful on themselves. This like go by rather quickly. It go by fast. And a lot of times our minds is preoccupied with thinking about the past or the future, which is insane. It is nuts. And when you are watchful of yourself and you're in constant prayer, within yourself, that means that you're present. That truly means that you're present. And in this day and age, it's extremely hard to be present because a lot of things is literally feeding away at our minds to get our attention. Which I tell you what, it's not the money that you gather, it's not the relationships that you have with people. The richest form of currency is your attention. That's what people try to get you at. People are trying to buy your attention, your algorithm, all of that is geared towards your and where your attention goes, energy flows. So be watchful even about that. What's going on, everybody? But be watchful over all of this stuff because that's the real battle of what's going on right now. This is a battle over our mind. This is good and evil that we experiencing right now. And a lot of people don't even know that we getting rocked to sleep. It's insane. It really is insane. And once you have your senses, it's you and your heart and the secret place within your heart, then the light can have a chance to hit you if you open and honest with yourself first and foremost. And the biggest key question that you want to ask yourself at the end of the day, who am I? That that's like the baseline because truly serve your purpose in this world without knowing who you are. And in order to know who you are, you have to be present. And who you are today may not be the same person that you're going to be tomorrow, let alone next week or 4 or 5 months from now, let alone 5 years from now. We don't even know if we're going to live to see tomorrow. That's insane. We don't. That's why the most valuable thing that you have is this present moment that like we experiencing right now. It's the most valuable thing that you have. And be very, very mindful about that. Be extremely mindful about that. There's no do-overs. There's no do-overs in this thing called life. What is going on, everybody? What's going on, Minnie? What's going on, Christy? Dan, how's it going? Um, be mindful about y'all experience because life is so deep and it's so incredible. It's such a beautiful thing. Most people don't look at it that way because most people are living life on the surface level. They're like here with it instead of trying to transcend their circumstances. And you can't will yourself to do anything that I'm talking. There's a certain amount of letting go and surrendering that you have to do. And another thing that I talk about on here all the time, because I haven't went live with you guys in a while, so this is like daily, not a daily, but a reminder of how to get to the place that I'm talking about. You have to die to your old self in order for your new self to be born. And you're gonna think differently about the world that you're living in. You're gonna feel differently about the world that you're living in, and you're gonna move different based off of those things about the world that you're living in. Even though all hell is breaking loose around you, it's not going to matter because of the new spirit body that you have, because of where the spirit actually come from. And the truth of the matter is, the spirit come from God. That's what animates our soul. God breathed His breath into our soul and animated it, gave it life, and that's what we share with all living things. Is the breath of life that come from the spirit of God. So be mindful about that as well. That if your air gets cut off and you're not able to breathe anymore, It cuts off your connection to the spirit of God, which is vital. Every moment that we get to experience in this thing called life is vital. And it's amazing, seriously. But a conversation that I was having with a friend of mine earlier, um, we was talking along the lines of a pivotal question of if you want the light of truth, you gotta have a light of truth revealed to you. And you gotta ask God to show me who am I really? What am I really meant to do in this world? What is my purpose in life? And with me, my purpose, it felt like lying in a lot of things, which came strictly from my own ego. Ego was lying to me, telling me that I was like a basketball player, which I dedicated my life to for such a long time. My ego was telling me that I had to be better than everybody else. My ego was lying to me, telling me that I had to work extremely hard every single day. And this is leading me to constant brick walls. This is leading me to make a lot of crucial mistakes in my life and creating behavior patterns out of these mistakes habitually. And it took me being humble, especially around like the time of like the pandemic. Like that was like a humbling time for like everybody. But around that time, I realized that um I had to change course in my life. And I was still holding on to a lot of the beliefs of like, for example, me being a basketball player. I held on to that for a long time after that point, actually. And I knew I had to let that go in order for God to work through me, in order for me to really find the path of truth to get where I was supposed to go. But during this whole entire process, I was extremely watchful of myself. And over time, it turned high key into like a skill, which I was just getting more and more observant to what was going on, like certain emotions. Really recently, I'm gonna be open and honest with you guys. There was something that hit me like heavy. This was like last week. And I was talking to another friend of mine about this, and it was despondency. I felt randomly this strong sense of like loss of hope, like feeling alone for like some odd reason, feeling crazy. I really was feeling crazy. And I was at a baseball game. I was at a Phillies game while all of this was going on, feeling these strong feelings of like despondency. And I'm sitting there watching the game, trying to be as present as I can and watchful of myself at the same time while all of this is going on. And I'm like, this is nuts. Where did this come from? Feeling crazy. And I carried over for like the next like 2 or 3 days. But then after that, there's the blessing in disguise within it all. Like seriously. And this is what I told a friend of mine, is just that there was a God allowed me to see what was going on. And I was watchful about that. And I thank God for showing that to me. That was like inside of me. That was making it really hard for me to be present. And also something that I knew but couldn't shake was I knew that well. And I was able to watch that while watching a freaking Phillies game. Insane. And by you being present and staying prayed up, that's going to do wonders to you. And there's suffering that you have to go through in order for you to weather the storm. But eventually, it will get easier. You just got to go through a little bit of hell at first, but it's worth it. It is worth it. We are all bodies. vessels that's like harboring a soul that's also harboring a spirit. And don't deceive yourselves. Be honest and truthful with all of your your dealings, no matter what. Be honest with yourself. Be true to yourself. Um, and it don't matter how that look to the world, because a lot of people are lying to themselves and presenting a false image to the world. We see that every day on like social media, Twitter, and all of that, YouTube, because people don't know how to keep it real. We so conditioned with people faking it that it conditions us to be the same way. And it also conditions us to be accepting of being that way, even though it makes us feel crazy on the inside. That are experiencing on the inside is going to come out no matter what. That's the law of nature and how things work. Whatever you're thinking and whatever you're feeling is going to come out, no matter how hard that you suppress it. And the more you suppress it and the more you repress it, it's going to come out, and it's going to come out in a bad situation. And you don't want that. Nobody wants that. And not only does that happen for an individual, it gets even crazier and it gets even worse when it happens on a collective scale. And we seeing the mayhem that's going on every single day from like the breaking news that we be hearing and all of the stuff that's going on in the world. It's like it's highlighted. This is a short life, but I truly want y'all to be mindful about the lives that y'all living and be watchful over your soul and be watchful over your spirit on what comes in and what goes out. Double-sided nature. Other than that, I'm out. Serve your purpose.